Hello and welcome back to the channel. Well, there has been a settlement reached in the Flint water crisis. The settlement seems to be quite large until you start breaking it down with tens of thousands of people. Anyway, I want you to go ahead and take a listen at the report, and I will be right back.
A federal judge on Wednesday approved a settlement worth $626 million for victims of the lead water crisis in Flint, Michigan, in a case brought by tens of thousands of residents affected by the contaminated water. The settlement reached here is a remarkable achievement for many reasons, not the least of which is that it sets forth a comprehensive compensation program and timeline that is consistent for every qualifying participant, U.S. District Judge Judith Levy said in a 178-page order. Earlier this year, the judge gave preliminary approval to a partial settlement of lawsuits filed by victims of the water crisis against the state. Flint's troubles began in 2014 after the city switched its water supply to the Flint River from Lake Huron to cut costs. Corrosive river water caused lead to leach from pipes, contaminating the drinking water and causing an outbreak of Legionnaire's disease. The Flint water crisis was one of the country's worst public health crises in recent memory. The case became emblematic of racial inequality in the United States, as it afflicted a city of about 100,000 people, more than half of whom are African Americans. The contamination prompted several lawsuits from parents who said their children were showing dangerously high blood levels of lead, which can cause development disorders. Lead can be toxic and children are especially vulnerable. Former Michigan Governor Rick Snyder was charged in January with 2 counts of willful neglect of duty over the lead poisoning of drinking water in Flint. Payouts from the settlement approved on Wednesday will be made based on a formula that directs more money to younger claimants and to those who can prove greater injury. Michigan's Attorney General has previously said that the settlement would rank as the largest in the state's history. Although this is a significant victory for Flint, we have a ways to go in stopping Americans from being systematically poisoned in their own homes, schools, and places of work, Corey Stern, a counsel for the plaintiffs, said in a statement after the judge's order on Wednesday.
Okay, so some would argue and say that something is better than nothing. Some are probably happy about this and saying about time. But when you really look deeper into this, and you look at the number of people that are involved in this, I do question if this is enough money. $626 million is not anything to sneeze at, but again, if you are dividing this with tens of thousands of people, that number drops big time, right? And then also there's a lot of hoops that people have to go through to get it, right? They have to prove the severity of their sickness. So again, that's another issue, proving severity. So that alone, depending on how bad someone was injured, if their end of the settlement or their portion of the settlement is like $100,000, when you think of ongoing medical bills, when you think of the trauma that your body has to go through from being exposed to these things, when you look at every factor, sometimes these dollar amounts, they don't seem as much as you originally thought, right? And many times when they are dealing with so-called African Americans or black people, they're not fair anyway. They're not fair anyway, okay? And that's my take on it. I just feel like that number, when you're dividing it and with all these people, and all of these people also have to jump through all of these hoops, and you have to come forward with proof that you've been messed up by it to get any significant amount. And then when you look at that so-called significant amount, is it really a great enough or good enough compensation for the pain and suffering? And what about those who have lost their lives? What about those? Will their families be compensated for that loss of life? What about those who are going to have ongoing medical conditions for the rest of their lives? Is their portion of the settlement going to be enough to accommodate them for that? And so that is my take on it. Many look at that number and they just don't think, and they say 626 million. Wow. But I would like for them to go ahead and plug in the number of people that's going to be divided by, and you will see that that is simply not enough for what those people had to endure and what they had to go through, I think that number needs to go way up. And that's just my opinion on the matter. Of course, you are entitled to leave your opinion in the comment section, but remember to keep it tight and keep it right. But until next time. We hope you liked today's topic. Please leave your comments below. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, share it like this video, and with that, we're out. Be sure to ring the bell to be notified of new uploads on this channel, and also comment, share, like, and subscribe.